Hello and welcome back to the Calorie Deficit University podcast. My name is Alexis and welcome to the show. Today, we're going to be talking about discipline, okay? It's a hot topic and I have very hard takes about it. And hopefully this episode really enlightens you and gives you clarity about your life, your own discipline, and hopefully makes you feel a little bit less crazy about all the people who are trying to tell you what to do all the time with their fitness or motivation content on the internet. Because I don't know about you, but I kind of get annoyed and sick of it because it is annoying and sickening. So I hear it all the time, right? If I just was more disciplined, I just wish I was more disciplined. If only I was more disciplined. I wish I was like so-and-so. Their discipline is so incredible. I can't be disciplined like them. Oh, if I only had the same amount of time that they had. Just a bunch of ifs. And it comes across as excuses, but I don't hear that, okay? I don't hear excuses when I hear somebody actually express a genuine desire to become more motivated, more disciplined. I want to meet that expression appropriately where it's at. And what I find is it is a misplaced kind of identity. It's a misplaced desire as a whole. And we're going to get into that, okay? As you know by now, if you've been listening to my podcast for a while, you know that I don't like limiting beliefs at all, okay? I also find it to be quite difficult to find a good, healthy balance between people like David Goggins, who I do have a lot of appreciation for and get value from, but also a balance between like the gentle parenting kind of accepting of obesity group, okay? I have a really hard time being in between the two of those groups, and neither one of them accepts me. And so I make my own path. But I find myself constantly swinging back and forth between the two and never feeling fully accepted by either group. And like I've said, so I've created my own, which if it resonates with you, like a 250,000 plus people have resonated with, obviously, that they've continued listening to this podcast, this is going to be enlightening for you. This episode is going to be wildly encouraging and helpful for you. Okay, so strap in and let's get some notes out. Okay, what is discipline? If you're unfamiliar with me, I have a degree in background in language, and so language is really important to me. Using specific language, scientific language, evidence-based language, and the application of it is very, very important. There's great meaning derived from specific usage of words, and I have always really kind of struggled to communicate well, and so it's become very important to me that I use specific language to express a very specific thing, okay? So when we have discussion around discipline, I find that the meaning of that word is completely lost altogether. And then when we hear it over and over and over again, it starts to actually mean nothing when it means a great deal. So if we take a look at the formal definition of discipline, it's the ability to control oneself or others and to act in a way that is orderly and in accordance with rules. There are, of course, different types of discipline, but I want to break down what that really means in application. Hear me in this. This is probably the most important part of the episode. Discipline is about you, okay? It's not about anybody else. It's about controlling yourself. Now, when it comes to doing so in an orderly fashion and in accordance with rules, here's what I want you to know. You make the rules. But Alexis, no. You make the rules. It's a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to accept. Your life is your own, okay? You make the rules. Of course, there are rules out there in this world that we all have to obey, right? If you're a law-abiding citizen, that's not what I'm saying, okay? I'm not talking about it on a menial level. I'm talking about it on an existential level. Okay. But when you come to find when discipline is about you, okay, when it's about your own personal discipline in life, you will find that there are no rules. There are no rules when it comes to discipline. There are guardrails, sure, in life, but when you truly reflect on the implication of discipline with you, yourself, your life, as you grow up, the guardrails actually just melt away. Who is there to hold you accountable if not your parents? Who is there to hold you accountable? The law? I'm sorry, how low vibrational is it that all you set as a bar or standard for yourself is that you don't break the law? That's lame, honestly. That's so lame. Like, write down something that is meaningful to you and hold yourself to it, because that's lame, okay? No one is coming to tell you what to do every day, what to eat, when to move your body, how to move your body, what you should look like, how strong you should be. That's up to you. You get to decide what you're disciplined at, what you want your routine to look like, what promises, what standards, what morals you want to hold yourself to. And some people might come into the chat and say, well, I'm religious and I have this standard that God holds me to. Whatever that it might be, that is your personal journey, your walk that you have to do. And suddenly the perspective of discipline becomes paramount. Suddenly the perspective of discipline isn't about David Goggins yelling in my face that I'm a little bitch and I need to do something about it. It becomes a deep interpersonal journey about how you can grow, how you can nurture yourself, how you can hold yourself accountable, how you can be a better person. And it's far more than just going on your walk and getting your 10K steps in every day. It's far deeper than just some protein and fiber. And those things start to collide. Those two worlds start to come together, and you start to understand just how undisciplined you are with your mind, with your emotions, with your reactions. And those are the things that deeply affect your health routine and keep you from achieving exactly what you want to achieve. So if you feel like you aren't a disciplined person, okay, hear me in this. It's going to sound mean. It's a challenge. It's not mean. It's accountability. If you feel like you are not a disciplined person, that's both entirely your fault, but also entirely up to you to change. And like I've said before, I would be inclined to push back on that self-limiting belief because I don't believe that you're undisciplined. If you're listening to this podcast, if you literally are doing anything, right? I'm sorry, in life, you have discipline as a part of your reality and timeline. It's really hard to exist in this world without having discipline in something. Okay, so if you can hold down any type of routine, if you're raising a child, have a full-time job, go to school, you finish school, even finishing a book, okay, you maintain a routine of grocery shopping, of cleaning your household, maintaining friendships and relationships and family relationships, you have a hobby or a skill or a craft, you pay a mortgage, you pay rent on time, you save any money. All of those things actually statistically make you far more disciplined than you think you are. The reason you think you're not disciplined is because you're comparing your life, your routine, to somebody else's self-discipline. You need to hear me in this. You are never going to have somebody else's life, so you're never going to have somebody else's discipline. It's delusional and it's making you feel crazy, okay? Please. These are primary examples that I just gave of real discipline. Okay, you have to set a goal for yourself, and through simple processes like prioritizing what's important, what distracts you that needs removing, practicing the skills it takes to get you there, getting the help or education you need to get better at the skill. All of those things are well-disciplined practices, okay? And you know how to get there. You know how to become more disciplined because more likely than not, you've already done it sometime, somewhere, doing something in your life already. And you just need to see that about yourself and believe that about yourself so that you can apply the same processes to where you want to go in your health and fitness. The reason you feel like you aren't disciplined enough when it comes to health and wellness, like going to the gym or eating better, is most likely because you're comparing yourself to other people. Okay? You're comparing yourself to their routines, their goals, their physique. I want you to hear me. You are never going to be able to get disciplined at somebody else's physique. Again, you are never going to be able to get disciplined at somebody else's physique. That's delusional. Your body is your body. Your life is your life. Your routine, your skill sets, your opportunities, how your socioeconomic status, all of those aspects of you are you. And so you're never going to have somebody else's routine or somebody else's discipline. And so looking to someone else, to an influencer, looking to 75 Hard, looking outside of yourself is only going to bring you hatred towards yourself. Looking beyond yourself, not to be woo-woo, but the answer is right there. The answer is within you. Daily 1%, right? Getting better at something every day, a little bit at a time, in your life, in your routine, with the time, the energy, and the skill set that you have already. That's how you get there. Beating yourself up because you're not like somebody else is going to make you hate everything about yourself. And the whole point of discipline is actually falling in love with yourself, being proud of yourself, keeping promises that you make to yourself about yourself. That's what real discipline is. That's what, when you look at somebody and you're like, wow, David Goggins, I will give him this. David Goggins lives so authentically true to himself. And he believes from his own mouth that his only mission in life is to take care of himself. That's where he stems from. And so while he may come across harsh or selfish, in my opinion, he's living true to himself. He's living true to what he thinks is right, to take care of himself, to provide for himself, to be true to the promises that he's made for himself. And so it may not apply to you, and that's okay. It can inspire you. It can be an example to you to be able to reflect on your own needs, on your own desires. But you are never going to be like him, and that's a good thing. You are always going to be like you. And if that makes you really uncomfortable, when I say that, you're like, dang, I don't know that I like that, then you have some work to do. You're never going to be disciplined at anything if you're starting from a place of hatred towards yourself. It's just not going to happen. It's going to be like every time it's like trying to get on somebody else. Okay. It's like trying to get on somebody else's elevator or get into somebody else's house or get it on somebody else's hotel room. The key card isn't going to let you in. You have to go into your own room and work with what you've got. Okay. You have to focus on yourself. Now, this is where I do, okay, a swing back towards like the other direction, that there are many of you out there who do need me to tell you, including myself, to stop being a little bitch, okay, and get your ass in gear. And I think that we all sometimes need to hear that because, hello, we're human beings and we need a little guardrail bump in the right direction. Like I said, I need to hear that from time to time. I need somebody to tell me to get over myself, or like my mom will tell me it's not that deep, Alexis. And I hate when she says that. I hate it so much because I'm like, it is that deep though. But it's a good kind of indicator to me of like, okay, it's her boomer way of saying it's not that serious, girl. Like, Savannah, slow down kind of energy. And so I receive that. I take that. Okay. But I tell myself to grow up often, not in a way that is unloving, but in a way that's like, okay, you are predisposed to want to be comfortable. If you want to grow, if you want to get better, if you want to change, you got to grow up, girl. You got to do the hard stuff too. The soft stuff and the hard stuff, the rest and the work, right? But I'm able to say those things to myself and accept that message and that feedback because I'm kind to myself and because I take plenty of rest and relaxation. And sometimes I do procrastinate so much to avoid hard things, and I have to hold myself accountable of that, to that, because I'm aware of myself and I'm aware of the promises I've made to myself, and I hold myself to my own discipline, to my own goals, to my own physique, to my own life, and to what I'm capable of. It would be delusional for me to say, oh, I'm just so mad at myself because I can't run 100 miles like David Goggins. That's dumb. I hate running. I don't run. I have a totally different physique goal in mind, and running and endurance is not a part of that. So why would I be angry at myself for something that's just not even on my radar? Or when I get frustrated seeing somebody who is looking really, really shreddy, or, you know, whatever it might be, and being like, okay, that's not my comparison. That's not my goal. That's not for me because I'm bulking right now. Okay, why would I compare myself to somebody who's at the end of their cut when I haven't put in any of those efforts to be in that same wheelhouse? That's dumb. And even within bodybuilding, we see this prevalent as well. They tell you all the time, don't compare yourself to even another person's physique in that class, because your physique is still your own. Bodybuilding is about bringing your best presence, your best physique to the stage for you, and the judges tell you how your physique can get better to compete next year. Of course, they're looking for a specific criteria, but they're not comparing you necessarily to the person on your left or your right. They're comparing how well you fit into the criteria that they are looking for. See the mindset shift? So practically, what can I do? What can you do? And this is what I want you to do. Practically, the first thing I want you to do is write out what goals you have for yourself. Short-term goals and long-term goals. Here, I really want you to reflect on those goals and be honest with yourself if they're reasonable, and if they're actually attainable. Because one of the worst things that you can do for yourself is setting the bar too high, so that you never actually feel good about any of the efforts that you're putting towards the things that you want to do. That's dumb. Number 2, it's like setting yourself up for failure, okay? Number 2, what I want you to do is write out what you are capable of, okay? Write out the things that you're really good at, okay? And then on the other side of the paper, I want you to write out areas where you need to grow, or things that you're bad at. And I want those two lists to at least be equal. So if like you've written 10 things that are bad about yourself, you need to at least write 10 things that are good about yourself, if not more, because I want you to focus on the things that you're good at. And I don't want you to write down things when I say that you're bad at or need to grow in. What I mean is not to degrade yourself, to dehumanize yourself, to be ungracious, unkind to yourself, but purely to be authentic with yourself of areas that you can improve on. That's what I mean. Areas that you'd like to see be better about yourself. And if you have none of those things as well, that is a really good reflection point to show that there may be some undisciplined characteristics and subconscious behavior that is sabotaging you from being able to grow, improve, and be better and achieve your goals. Okay? I want you to celebrate what you're good at, specifically, and put together an action plan for the things that you're bad at. We're not just going to write some shit down on paper and say, I'm good to go. You better celebrate things that you're good at and actually give yourself a pat on the back and daily remind yourself of all the things that you're good at and hype yourself up, okay? But actually put together some realistic action items of how you're going to deal with your shit that's getting in your way. That's how you actually become disciplined. It's not this like metaphysical, unattainable, like weird, spooky, in the cloud energy that only people who radiate this stay hard, tough suffrage energy attain. People attain discipline through boring daily acts of self-reflection and affirmation. It's boring. That's why most people are not very disciplined in the areas that they want to grow, in the areas where they want to see their goals achieved or improvements made. That's it. That's all I want you to do. Those are the action items. You're going to see just how much better you feel about your life the minute you stop, first of all, comparing yourself to other people and only comparing yourself to yourself, but actually putting together real, attainable, touchable, doable action items to make you feel better about your daily habits and routines. I do this self-audit a few times a year, at least. I like to try and do it like every quarter to make sure that my business goals are aligning like with my personal goals and that I'm actually achieving the things that I want to achieve for myself. But I recommend doing this regularly to people, especially people who are not actively in therapy and don't actively like have good feedback from friends or family members. You are going to have to be your feedback, and that is hard, but it's doable. You have to look at yourself as objectively as possible. Seems pretty fucking boring, right? Yeah, it is, but that's the point. Discipline is not supposed to be this crazy high, low lows. It's supposed to be a daily consistent routine. So the not so fun parts about discipline, okay, that I really want to drive home is that discipline actually is a process of explaining to your brain, to yourself, that you do need to sacrifice immediate pleasures for greater rewards in the future. Yeah, that sucks. You're going to have to accept that, but you'll be okay. You've accepted it most likely before. If you've graduated high school, you have to accept that high school sometimes fucking sucks. And it is what it is. Discipline is who you are when nobody's watching. Of course, that's integrity too, but they're one and the same in this specific application. Discipline is to yourself who you are when nobody's watching. Because I see a lot of integritous people out there. They're very kind, they're honest, and they're open, and they treat people well, and that's who they are, and that's who they authentically will always be. But behind closed doors, the way that they talk to themselves is unkind, nasty, dehumanizing, and they would never allow anyone else to talk to people that way. And so I challenge you that you need to have discipline with your own actions towards yourself, your own treatment towards yourself. How do you talk to yourself? Would you accept that for anybody else? Or would you tell them they need to be nicer to themselves? What allowances do you make for yourself? You know, when you say, I'm going to do something for myself, and then you let everyone trample over you, and because you're a people pleaser, right? Or you say like, oh, I couldn't get to the gym because this person needed that and I had to help this person with that. Are you being undisciplined or lacking integrity with how you treat yourself? That's a tough one. Okay, and the last thing I will say on the not so fun parts of discipline is that I really need you to hear me in this, okay? Is don't wait until you are filled with regret to not live the life that you want to live. Your procrastination will take away the life that you want. It really will. You'll wake up one day and wonder what happened and how did life pass me by? And that is a sickening feeling. And so, which hard do you want? Do you want the hard of regret that life gets away from you and that you don't ever work towards your goals or promises that you make for yourself? Or do you want the acceptance of the hard of working on the personal skill and diligence of discipline? The choice, everybody has that choice, okay? Everybody is presented with that choice. And that's what makes or breaks the difference of happiness, of fulfillment, and ultimately of getting where you want to go in life. Okay? So to wrap it up, I want you to know that you are far more capable than you know, than you believe of yourself. And I really need you to believe in yourself. I do. It's the first step to becoming more disciplined, is believing that you can. You have to act in a way that aligns with your plan, not your mood. You have to get rid of the daily habit of giving into your every whim. Giving into your every whim will only leave you unable to recognize yourself. One day you will wake up and not even recognize who you are because you've spent all this time trying to live the lives of the people you are watching through a screen. Take hold of your life and actually live it. Time is going to pass anyway, so don't procrastinate it away. Take hold of your own dreams. Be weird, be different, and most importantly, be disciplined about you. Be disciplined about your own life and what you actually want for yourself. Please, I want you to wake up every day and actually like yourself. I want you to wake up every day and be proud of what you did the day before. That is a life worth getting excited about. That is a life that people covet and are jealous of. That's what you are desiring every time you scroll through a screen and feel jealous about the life that somebody else is living. Because the reality is, if somebody else was tuning into your life, they would probably feel the exact same way. It's just a part of the human condition. But it doesn't have to define you. It's something that you can learn and grow from and get better at. Thanks so much for tuning in to today's episode. I really hoped you enjoyed it and found some motivation. If you could go ahead and give me a 5-star review on whatever platform you are enjoying on, that would be amazing. You can find me on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube with the links provided in the description of the bio of this podcast episode. I also have a new website up where you can look at my coaching plans, my transformations, my 5-star reviews. All of my hub is there. If you're interested in coaching, you can fill out the coaching inquiry application and I will get started with you via consultation, via email. Thanks so much, and I will catch you in next week's episode.